Weeknights at 8, 7 Central.
I'm Frank Fabelli. Coming up on UPN 48 News at 10. Giving is down, revenues are off, but not for one nonprofit CEO.
I'm Jeff Barn. Also coming up, are we setting ourselves up for deja vu all over again? Tonight, we take a look at national insecurity and what happens when the Secret Service gets separated from the president.
Then, why police are warning the elderly to be on the lookout. Good evening, everyone. Here's what's happening. Guilford County's embattled health director is back in the news again. Dr. Ramesh Krishnaraj was punished last March after being arrested for DWI shortly after he was hired. Tonight, members of the Board of Health called a special session to discuss his future. UPN 48's McCall Parr is live in Guilford County with more on the story. McCall?
Well, Frank, as you just said, the chairman of the Guilford County Board of Health called a special session here tonight. One of the members tells me that Dr. Ramesh Krishnaraj has resigned his position as health director because he wants to get back into clinical practice. Now, there was some speculation that tonight's meeting had something to do with the doctor's arrest for DWI last year, but again, we're told that just isn't the case. He wants to get out of an administrative role and back to seeing patients. His resignation is effective November 30th. In the meantime, the board has appointed an interim director. That person is Meryl Green. Now, Dr. Green should be comfortable in this role. She's already serving as the assistant health director right now, and then the board will get to choosing a new health director in the near future. Frank?
All right, McCall Parr live tonight in Guilford County. Last week, we told you about several CEOs of nonprofit groups in the Triad who seem to be profiting from their organizations. Now, another president makes the list. UPN 48's Adrian Flores joins us now live from our satellite center with more on the story. Adrian?
That's right, Frank. Well, you know, the presidents of Greensboro's Goodwill, United Way of Greensboro, and Forsyth County's United Way are all making more than $100,000. But after last week's story aired, we found out that another CEO and some of his execs are also earning hefty salaries.
The retail monies drive the employment training programs. On paper, that's all well and true. In reality, that was not what was happening.
Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina has been a popular landmark near downtown Winston-Salem for over 50 years. But one former employee says what's going on behind those walls might surprise you.
Goodwill, I think since they moved into or renovated the building has become more style than substance.
John Sheldon spent 12 years as vice president of employment training at Goodwill.
I saw a lot of things begin to occur, a lot of activities that were drifting more and more towards the retail operation and away from what I considered the mission.
That mission includes job training and housing for veterans.
The healthier the raises got, the more I think attention became towards the dollar rather than the person.
Sheldon claims some of that money went to hefty bonuses and salaries, starting at the top. 4 of the top executives are making over $100,000 a year. Billy Whitaker, president and CEO since 1987, made more than $195,000 last year.
We looked at the figures for Goodwills that do over $20 million.
Penny Bradshaw, chairman of the board of Goodwill's directors, signed off on Whitaker's salary and defends her decision.
Were it not for us having Billy Whitaker as our CEO, we wouldn't be as successful and we wouldn't be able to provide the services.
Now, Bradshaw said what people need to realize is because its retail stores fund many of Goodwill's programs, Goodwill is really run like a business, which means Whitaker's salary is comparable to CEOs in the private sector. Frank?
All right, now, Adrian, was John Sheldon angry about leaving the organization?
Actually, no, Frank. Sheldon realizes some people might think he has an axe to grind, but he says he left Goodwill on good terms and just didn't think that all the money was benefiting as many people as it could have, and he decided to speak out.
Interesting story. Thanks. Adrian Flores reporting live from our satellite center tonight. The sun played hide and seek today, but will it make it out for tomorrow? Meteorologist Chris Tomer joins us now with your first forecast.
Well, Frank, unfortunately, I don't expect any sunshine tomorrow. In fact, we have a pipeline of moisture headed our way. It was a mild day today. We had mid-60s. Normally, we'd only be in the 50s for this time of the year, but I'm watching an area of rain headed our direction. As you can see, green as close as Asheville now, and it's raining down in Atlanta and Birmingham. A stripe of heavy rain is projected to be over us tonight and then into the day tomorrow. I'll be back here in just a few minutes with a closer look at your forecast. Frank.
All right, thanks, Chris. A Winston-Salem family is in need tonight after their home was destroyed by fire this weekend. Members of their community are doing everything they can to help the family, but more is needed. UPN 48's Donald Robinson has the details.
This is the front of the house. This is the living room. Couches used to be beige. Carpet was beige also.
Dara Desmond gave us a tour of the aftermath smoke and fire caused to her home here at North Forsyth Trailer Park Friday afternoon. She says the fire started in the back room.
My 4-year-old, I've lost all of her stuff, all of her clothes, her shoes, her pictures also that I kept back here in this closet.
Desmond says her 4 children were at school and she was at work when she learned of the fire.
My main concern right now is getting them beds to sleep on and getting them clothes to hold them out for the next couple of weeks until I get paid.
When I was walking past the window, we seen the smoke coming out of the house, and I wasn't for sure if someone was in the house or not.
Quentin Mallet told his brothers about the fire, and they decided to go inside the house after seeing Desmond's van parked outside.
I was going in regardless because I didn't want anybody to get hurt.
Desmond says despite her misfortune, someone tried to take advantage of the situation hours after the fire.
The police were called out here on Friday because there was a man in here with black jacket, black hat, rummaging through the stuff.
The family has lost everything from their home to family treasures. But there's a bright spot to this story. The landlord of this property has given them another place to stay right across the road.
They moved pretty quickly, actually. He told us on Friday that he would have these carpets cleaned over the weekend. We'd be able to move in by Monday.
New Hope Missionary Baptist Church has helped. Salvation Army has pitched in, and with clothes vouchers. But there is still a need for furniture for the children. There are 3 girls and 1 boy, all small kids.
Things Desmond says help make a home. In Winston-Salem, Donald Robinson, UPN 48 News at 10.
If you'd like to help the Desmond family, you can call Dara Desmond at 922-0459 or send a donation to 5133 Highland Park Street, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, 27106. A good deed went up in smoke this morning. This Habitat for Humanity home was destroyed by fire. 2 houses nearby were also damaged. Fire officials suspect arson. Lillian Dunk and her 2 children were set to move in to the house next month.
Sad that it happened, but I think that the community will rise to the occasion and will rebuild the house as quickly as we can.
A warning tonight for the elderly: beware of home improvement scams. Consumer watchdogs say be suspicious of those who show up at your door offering a deal. UPN 48's Leonard Simpson explains why in tonight's Crime and Justice Report.
They cruise the back roads looking for older buildings in need of paint or driveways to pave. They're searching out older folks to overcharge for poor quality work.
The first rule of thumb in protecting yourself against a home improvement scammer is to simply not do business with someone who just happens to stop by unsolicited offering to do work, or offers you a limited time bargain, or just seems like a nice, fast-talking salesman, someone who gains your trust easily. A so-called confidence man, con man for short.
Don't be surprised if the person that you're talking to is really nice. What a nice young man, what a nice young lady. That's really great, but you need to do your homework and make sure they've got a reputation. You don't know what they're telling you, whether it's true or not.
The Better Business Bureau gets the complaints and wants to help you avoid getting scammed.
When someone approaches you off the get-go, they're right there. Sometimes the best thing to do may be to say, no, thank you.
Some scammers can be dangerous. 2 men posing as power company employees forced their way into this Rockingham County home this year and stole thousands of dollars. They're suspected of injuring another elderly homeowner on the same day.
If someone's pushing you to write them a check or pushing you to contract with them real hard, you need to step back because they're probably trying to con you.
So beware, the sheriff says, of those who come calling without an invitation. They just may be out to rip you off. In Rockingham County, Leonard Simpson, UPN 48 News at 10.
If you're suspicious of someone showing up at your door, call the sheriff or your local police. Authorities say it's better to have it checked out than to be scammed. Things aren't looking so hot for the company famous for hot donuts now. Third quarter financial results turned sour for Winston-Salem-based Krispy Kreme. The company lost $3 million in the quarter compared to a $14 million profit for the same period last year. Officials say it was due to charges for discontinued operations and store closings. Out with the old, in with the new. New technology means tighter security and less traffic delays at Fort Bragg. The base is now training contract security guards how to use a new automated vehicle registration system. The system uses barcode scanners to read information from driver's licenses. The process is completed in a matter of seconds.
It gives us greater visibility over the people that are coming onto Fort Bragg, and we can determine whether or not they should be granted access.
Coming up on Your Choice for Primetime News, balancing motherhood and career is a difficult task, but we'll show you how some employers are making it a little easier. And Star Power in the Piedmont, we'll tell you how some big names are raising money for minority health.
I'm Jeff Barr. Next from News Central, he was supposed to be hunting deer, but police say he locked in on something else. And why the Donald says 11 is his lucky number.
This portion of UPN 48 News at 10 is brought to you by your local Honda dealer.
Kim Parker gets her big break in fashion.
So what's your assignment? Assistant to the supermodel, Trisay. Get up!
Can Kim survive the job from hell?
Are you sure you want to work with this woman? Like, she's crazy. Mama, I'm used to crazy. I live with you.
Next Partners.
Tomorrow at 6 on UPN 48.
To get the job done right, you need the right tools for the job. Now when you buy America's best-selling F-Series during Ford Truck Power Days, you'll also receive this 5-piece set of Craftsman cordless power tools. So get into a Ford F-Series right now with up to $5,000 cash back or choose 0% financing. Then get to work with your very own set of Craftsman power tools at no extra charge. Your projects are waiting and the power is here. So get to Ford Truck Power Days at your Carolina Ford dealer.
I'm loving it, we gotta go. Get back on the road. I need to get there early. Breakfast can't be slow. No one is here to fight me. I can really get stuff done. Since all my friends are online, and the game has just begun.
Get the goods and get going with a quick stop at McDonald's. Grab 2 scratch-made sausage biscuit with egg sandwiches for just $2 and make the most of your morning.
McDonald's. The best way to start my day. I'm loving it.
Everything is fine 1 minute, and then out of nowhere, another vehicle pulls in front of you. The insurance adjuster for the other driver wants to settle the claim. Don't sign anything. Instead, call us, Peebles and Schramm. We're the lawyers with a former insurance adjuster on our staff. We'll set up a free meeting with you to assess your situation. Teamed with a former insurance adjuster, we'll fight hard and smart for you.
Passing the blame, the fallout from Friday's brawl is bouncing out of bounds. I'm Jeff Barr. Here's the latest now from News Central. Players say it was the fans. Fans say it was the players. No matter who's responsible for Friday night's basketball brawl, one thing's for sure, everybody's talking about it. Tonight, News Central's Jonah Schwartz talks about what some call the bias in basketball.
I'm joined by Eric Fisher of the Washington Times. Eric, you're here to talk to us about the basket brawl Friday night. Obviously huge news. Big question here that nobody's talking about, though. There are some murmurs about it. Is there a racial component here with the way the public has reacted to this?
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, it's obviously fair to say and accurate to say that this league is predominantly African-American and much more so than the other leagues. But I think the real issue here is the level to which the players got into the stands, which is obviously the cardinal sin.
It shouldn't be this way, but do you fear that, you know, all of white America sits there and looks at this video of larger black men going into a crowd and pummeling people? Do you think it feeds into what some stereotypes that we know really shouldn't be true, they aren't true, but do you think it still feeds into those stereotypes, unfortunately?
I think so. I think so, and probably some of your areas, you know, again, not to be overly stereotypical, but perhaps some of your areas of the South and Upper Midwest that are, you know, have perhaps some more documented history over the decades with, you know, with racial issues. You know, I think, yeah, I think there's probably probably some of that there. And it is really unfortunate.
There was an incident, as you know, in baseball over the summer. And after this incident with basketball, you've heard the term thug league used by a lot of people. No one has ever uttered the word thug league about baseball, and even though they've had their incidents as well.
When they say thug league, I think it's not so much an issue of race as it is a problem with fundamentals. And I think that's an issue in basketball compared to the other sports.
Eric Fisher of the Washington Times, thank you very much.
Last night, we asked you to tell us if these suspensions are appropriate after the brawl in Detroit. 78% of you said yes, 22% said no. 25 years ago, there was a class act on the courts, a player who always rose above this and became one of the greatest in the sport. Former NBA great Julius Erving, known as Dr. J, talked about professional sports and the responsibility of both the players and the fans.
My heart just dropped. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing in the NBA and in professional basketball. It can't be allowed to happen again, and the preventive measures need to be put in place.
You have these ridiculous fans.
They are accountable, and there's going to be something in the next month or so that's going to come out that's, you know, going to make some fans banned maybe from basketball forever.
So tell us tonight, do you think players, fans, or all involved should face criminal charges in wake of Friday's brawl? You can log on to NewsCentral.tv. We'll have results for you tomorrow night. Just 2 days after Congress failed to pass the National Intelligence Bill, President Bush remains confident it will pass. Even if it does, change won't happen overnight. Homeland Security Chief Tom Ridge says it'll take more than a few weeks to overhaul America's intelligence network. The bill was based on findings made by the 9/11 Commission. As Congress mulls over this security bill, America waits for new laws that will hopefully keep our homeland safe. But in wake of 9/11, can we afford to take our time? NewsCentral's Morris Jones has this special report on Homeland insecurity.
Who is watching out for us? Who's making sure we're all safe from the next terrorist attack by air, land, or sea? Are first responders getting what they need? And can hospitals handle mass casualties?
In terms of catastrophic response, both in terms of nuclear and biological, we are unprepared.
Because of the massive task at hand, are in the business of risk management.
Critics believe millions of dollars in Homeland Security money is missing the target, never filtering down to local governments that need it. So where is the money? Stuck here in Washington or what? According to the White House budget, the Department of Homeland Security spent $28 billion in 2003. But the majority of cities and counties say they're not seeing the money they were promised. We asked Homeland Security, but never really got an answer. And still, more than 3 years after 9/11, we're disorganized in key areas like first responders, biodefense, and terror watch lists.
Tell me about watch lists. They seem to work for Cat Stevens, or work against him.
Well, they didn't work for Cat Stevens. I think that's an example of our watch list not working yet. These were required by statute to be ready and running a year ago. They were promised a year ago. They've been promised 3, 6, 8 months ago, and they continue to not be up and running.
Why? Homeland Security has over a dozen agencies, from Defense, the TSA, Customs, Immigration, and more. It's just like corporate America. Numerous departments that don't necessarily work together or talk to each other.
The task of consolidating the watch list is not quite as simple as putting together a number of different lists in a computer program.
But critics feel even the best watch lists are not a cure-all. The porous U.S.-Mexican border is still a worry. Recent intelligence reports suggest that al-Qaeda terrorists might be trying to smuggle nuclear weapons from Europe into the U.S. by way of Mexico.
If there was any one big problem that had to be fixed today with Homeland Security, what would it be?
We have to do a far better job protecting our borders from cargo coming in, from smuggling of individuals or smuggling of cargo that may contain nuclear materials or may contain the mechanisms or devices for terrorist attacks.
We are now ensuring that all of the money that's being spent for Homeland Security needs is being spent according to those plans.
Still, the fact remains. There's been no major attack on American soil in the 3 years since 9/11. Good policing or good luck? In Washington, Morris Jones, News Central.
The mammoth spending bill that cleared Congress this weekend is on a slow track to the president's desk while lawmakers work to remove an embarrassing provision. Buried in the 1,000 pages was a clause allowing certain politicians to access tax returns of every American. It was a staffer, not a lawmaker, who discovered it at the last minute.
It's a very troubling position that will potentially take away American taxpayers' rights to privacy.
This is somebody's innovative thinking of how they could get their minions into taxes of individuals who might be political opponents or who might come up against them in some way.
Congress will vote to remove the provision before sending the bill to the White House. President Bush has to rescue his own bodyguard. Chilean security officials tried to stop the Secret Service from entering an APEC summit dinner Saturday night. Mr. Bush himself stepped right in the middle and grabbed his Secret Service agent. According to White House officials, the president says the guards were with him and the issue was quickly resolved. Problems with security in Iraq as well, especially near the airport in Baghdad. A homemade bomb was found on a commercial flight, prompting officials to add more screening measures. The U.S. Embassy says U.S. citizens should review their travel plans if they plan to fly to Iraq aboard a commercial plane. Non-military flights began service to Baghdad just last week. There are reports of insurgents shooting at aircraft. A hunting area turns into a killing field in Wisconsin, and the only reason the massacre wasn't worse, the shooter apparently ran out of bullets. 6 people are dead, 2 more hurt after a dispute among deer hunters. It was over a tree stand. Police say the suspect was on a private property. When he was asked to leave, he began to shoot. As more people came to help, they were shot as well.
This is completely nuts. We were very thankful to take him into custody. No one else got hurt.
After the shooting spree, the suspect tried to run but got lost. 2 men who didn't even know what happened led him out of the woods where police were waiting for him. Other stories making news around America tonight. An eerie story out of Texas. Former President George Bush Sr. was supposed to take a private plane to Ecuador, but that plane crashed in thick fog as it approached Houston's Hobby Airport. All 3 crew members aboard were killed. Bush's trip was canceled.
If you look back down the Beltway, you can see that the plane clipped one of these light poles out here, one of these long, tall light poles. And actually, there's a wing laying down there by the light pole. So we know that as it was coming across, it did clip a light pole. There's debris everywhere from there out into the field.
Weather likely played a key role in this morning's crash. Heavy rain, severe thunderstorms, and occasional tornadoes have battered South Texas for days now. Some areas saw as much as 15 inches of rain. There was heavy fog near the airport when the plane went down. Churchgoers at one Florida church found themselves praying before Sunday services. 2 men wearing ski masks barged into a Catholic church in Fort Lauderdale Sunday morning. They robbed church members as they waited for Mass to begin. Both men were armed with semi-automatic weapons as they stormed the pews.
They walked right up and down the center aisle, started demanding everybody to start emptying out their pockets. There was one lady who was up at the altar praying. She was pushed down, robbed of her purse.
Parishioners quickly ran out of the church, understandably. The robbers escaped through a side door and are still on the loose at this hour. Police dusted for fingerprints earlier this morning. If you're sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for Scott Peterson's sentence, sit back. The sentencing phase was scheduled to start today, but the judge pushed the date to November the 30th. Defense attorney Mark Garagos repeatedly asked for a change of venue and a new jury, but it was denied. Last week, Peterson was found guilty of murdering his wife Lacey and unborn son. He can get life behind bars or face the death penalty.
Scott was craning his neck trying to make some eye contact with any juror, and not one would look at him. I mean, it felt like today death was in the house. I mean, it really felt like this jury could sentence him to death.
Garagos plans to appeal and will go to the state Supreme Court if necessary to change the venue and, of course, the jury. The judge allowed the week delay but told jurors to be ready next week. One person's science project is another's pet peeve, and this is what happens when they unlock their emotions. That's still ahead from NewsCentral tonight.
Girlfriend! Joan's ready to kiss and make up. Boyfriend's back and he's coming to see me. But instead, she's getting the kiss off.
I'm engaged.
You mean busy? Now she's plotting. Just wanted to congratulate you on your engagement.
What engagement? You told me you just dumped somebody.
Sweet revenge.
What kind of game are you playing?
The kind that'll make us both feel better in like 10 or 15 minutes. Girlfriends.
Tomorrow at 6:30 on UPN 48.
There are many ways to save money. Driving a new car usually isn't one of them. Unless, that is, you own a Honda Civic. You see, the Civic has the lowest ownership cost and the highest resale value, which has been known to make people smile all the way to the bank. The Civic from Honda. Get special APR financing as low as 2.9% for 24 to 60 months on 2005 Civics for well-qualified buyers.
Tired of boring workouts? Well, get ready to have a blast with the next generation of Tybo featuring Billy Blank's amazing new contact bag. It's more fun than ever and will help you shed those pounds and inches. Now, you can punch and kick your way to quickly create the lean, sculpted body you've always wanted. Target your abs, thighs, and even those tough-to-tone buns. We'll also include Billy's brand new Tybo contact video, absolutely free. This video is jam-packed with fun Tybo exercises using the contact bag, and Billy Blanks is your personal trainer. But wait, call now and you'll also get Billy's Motion Map, a fold-out wall chart that will speed you on your way to fast fitness results. You'll get it all: the Tybo contact bag with pump, the contact video, and Billy's Motion Map, a $40 value, yours for just $19.95. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-323-3600. That's 1-800-323-3600. Don't delay. Call now.
Dad, did you know Kraft single slices are a source of calcium? And calcium aids in the growth and maintenance of bones and teeth.
Can I have some?
You're not the one that's growing, Dad.
Kraft American Singles. Double the calcium of many other American slices.
Meet Chuck. His friends call him Cowboy. A hard-working man until an accident on the job changed everything. He was seriously injured, and the workers' compensation system failed him. That's why we're here. We stand up for people like Cowboy. When you need help, we'll stand up for you. We're Crumley & Associates, 1-800-288-1LAW.
I'm a real client, and Bob Crumley stood up for me.
Next, Larry Elder. She didn't want to reveal an affair.
You had no idea?
No. She had to.
Yes, I did end up pregnant.
Let's assume that this child is not yours. Then what?
Next, Larry Elder.
Tomorrow at 3 on UPN 48.
The number of mothers choosing to breastfeed has been on the rise, forcing moms to juggle maternal and professional duties. But now, a growing number of employers are making accommodations for mothers to do both. NewsCentral's Martha Guzman has this special report.
Gurvindra Mahajan is a career woman who's just returned to work after having a baby. Like many working mothers who choose to breastfeed, finding the time and a place to pump can be a challenge.
The large majority of mothers of children under a year in North Carolina are back at work. And because they're separated for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, the mother has to have a time and a place to pump.
This issue was the focus of a forum in early September where representatives from public agencies met to come up with a blueprint for action to support breastfeeding in North Carolina. GlaxoSmithKline and Research Triangle Park is among a growing number of companies that offer lactation rooms for working mothers.
The very fact that we have a room here and the very fact that we have equipment here and everything set up for us, it shows that our company supports us. So I know that my company is behind me when I'm doing this.
Mothers sometimes feel guilty about coming to work, leaving their children. This is a way for the mother to continue to nourish her child and breastfeed.
Breastfeeding is recognized by most physicians as the best feeding choice to promote healthy growth and development of infants and young children. And with that in mind, more companies are making the investment in their working mothers. At GSK, there are 13 lactation rooms completely outfitted with hospital-grade pumps at about $500 a piece, a refrigerator to store the breast milk costing about $80, and the company pays $50 for each pump kit given to the nursing mothers. At UNC Hospital, there are 4 designated pumping rooms for employees to use during breaks.
And we know that breastfeeding is best for all babies, and so we wanted to promote optimal health care for our babies, our employees' babies, as much as for the patients we care for.
Those who offer baby-friendly work environments say the costs involved are minimal compared to the long-term savings.
It usually means that the child is ill less, The mother is at work more. The child's healthier. So lots of reasons. It's a real win-win for both the employee and the company.
Some big names are visiting the Triad. Coming up on Your Choice for Primetime News, we'll tell you how superstar power is helping raise money for minorities. Then, Wake takes on Duke. We'll have the highlights from one of the final rounds of the preseason NIT tournament.
Well, it looks like quite a little pipeline of moisture is headed our way. When does the rain get here? I'm meteorologist Chris Tomer, and I'll have your complete forecast coming up.
I'm a Ford truck man. It's the biggest event of the year.
It's Ford's Big Throwdown,
where you can save big on America's #1 selling SUVs.
You can't beat #1, brother.
Now get great throwdown savings on all Ford SUVs, like the best-selling Ford Explorer and the big and roomy Expedition. Just announced. Get 0% financing for 72 months on the 2004 Explorer and Expedition.
Yeah, I drive a Ford. I wouldn't drive anything else.
Get to Ford's Big Throwdown.
Nothing's finer than your Carolina Ford dealer.
Attention cul-de-sac residents, it's almost dinner time. Do you know what you're making?
Good question. How about a delicious Bisquick salsa chicken fiesta?
Yum.
I bet you have all the ingredients that you need on hand. Who can get me some chicken? Got it. Cheese and salsa?
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we just put it all together. The recipe's on the new Bisquick box. And we Bisquick it. Bisquicking. Ta-da! The family will love it.
You've got what it takes, so Bisquick it. Ciao. Get it?
My lymphoma had not only come back, but it was life-threatening.
After I discovered I was pregnant, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
When I first found out that Frank had cancer, I felt like my whole world had fallen apart.
I went to one more hospital because I wasn't willing to give up.
Being treated like a real person for the first time in 10 years was such a relief.
I feel like it's just like going back home.
My son.
Our cancer information specialists are available 24 hours a day. Call now and they'll send you this free life-changing video and information kit that shows you how state-of-the-art medicine combines with unique therapies to give you treatment options you may not even know exist.
We as cancer patients, for whatever reason, have been dealt this kind of pain. But there is hope on the other side, and there is great life after cancer.
Well, Frank, it does look like we're going to get rid of all these clouds by the time Thursday rolls around, so we could see some sun on Thanksgiving. But tonight, I'm watching an area of rain starting to advance our direction right out of the southwest. Asheville, Atlanta, and parts of Columbia, South Carolina, seeing some light showers right now. It was mild today. We had mid-60s, but it was cloudy, overcast, some fog, even a little bit of mist in spots today across the Piedmont Triad. The high at the airport, 65 degrees. That's mild, considering the normal is 58. It was a dry day, and this morning, mild at 52. Tomorrow morning, we'll be at 53 degrees by 7 o'clock with some scattered showers around the area. Steadier rain begins to take hold by noon, and then 5 o'clock, only rebounding to near 55 degrees tomorrow. That's going to feel considerably cooler than today. Here's this pipeline of moisture we have targeting us for tomorrow and most of the day on Wednesday. So we're going to see rain, unfortunately, tomorrow and again on Wednesday. Some storms down in parts of the Lone Star State. I think more than anything, it's just going to be a moderate, light to moderate rain here across the Piedmont Triad areas. And then colder air will work its way in as we head into Thanksgiving. Here's the setup tomorrow. At the surface, we're going to see all this rain pretty much work its way up the eastern seaboard tomorrow through most of the mid-Atlantic states with showers and thunderstorms, while Florida continues to enjoy quite a bit of sunshine. Thanksgiving Day in particular, colder air begins to sweep in from Canada. The storm system will have moved out, so Thanksgiving here does look rather nice and kind of cool, though, as of right now. Tonight, low 50s pretty much everywhere. Here in Guilford County, 52 in particular, with some fog for most of the night with clouds. And then tomorrow, showers most of the day. Mid-50s pretty much everywhere. Asheboro at 56. More specifically here tonight, downtown Greensboro, cloudy, foggy with a 30% chance of light rain, and 52 tonight, so the temperature does not fall much. Winds will be light into the day tomorrow. Rain developing, a cloudy, dreary day. 55 degrees. Look how warm we are on Wednesday as that storm really pushes some warm air our way. And then Thanksgiving, the best news in the forecast. Right now looking partly sunny, 56 degrees. And then the big shopping day, sunny and 55. Frank.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chris. Oprah Winfrey and Maya Angelou will host a benefit concert on the Triad on Friday. That star power is being used to shine the light on a local and national health problem. UPN 48's Denise Jackson explains.
Track of how much is coming in.
Medical students meeting to exchange ideas. Staff making phone calls and typing on the computer. There's nothing unusual about this office setting, but they're all working towards a common goal.
The development of programs that impact the well-being and quality of life of minorities in our community.
Dr. Christy Woods directs the Maya Angelou Research Center. It opened at Wake Forest University Baptist Medical Center in 2002.
In this country, despite the medical advances that we've seen in the past 40 years, the gap between minorities and non-minorities has widened. And this is the gap in death rates, the gap in mortality. We can just go down the line. Death rates from heart disease, diabetes, prostate cancer, breast cancer, HIV/AIDS are all higher in minorities. And again, the gap is growing.
Dr. Angelou agreed to put her name on the center to help bring attention to the disparities between minorities and non-minorities. Her friend Oprah Winfrey decided to sponsor a gospel concert to benefit the center.
We're just new, we're getting started, but we've done some wonderful programs already. So I think this event will really put us on the map, definitely locally, but maybe even outside of our own region.
Woods says there are so many reasons behind the gap between minorities and non-minorities, but that's one major reason why the center is needed. She also told me the center is hoping to raise a $20 million endowment so it will become a permanent part of the university and community. Frank?
All right, thanks, Denise. The concert is called An Evening of Healing Through Song. The featured artist is gospel singer Joshua Nelson. Oprah Winfrey and Maya Angelou will host the event. It'll take place Friday, November 26th at St. Peter's World Outreach Center. Tickets are still available. For more information, call Ticketmaster, 722-6400. When the going gets tough, the Panthers get goings. Coming up in sports, we'll show you highlights from their first home victory of the season. Then, in the market for a homegrown mountain Christmas tree, we'll tell you why you might be out of luck this holiday season.
The Players Association appeals the punishment for the guys in the brawl, while some colleges punish their teams a little differently. It's all coming up in Sports Central.
You've got a clench here. You got to get police control.
Yep.
And now state police are out there on the field. Now there's more going on in the end zone, and now the state police.
Your call is very important to us. Please hold for the next agent.
Hello, I am Salam. I am happy to be helping you today.
Most computers cost about the same amount of money no matter where you buy them. So why not buy one from a company that's been in the Triad for 21 years and has been in business longer than Dell or Gateway? That company would be Computer and Software Outlet of Winston-Salem. They guarantee that when you call for tech support, their technician will not only speak English, but will speak Southern English. So y'all come down to Computer and Software Outlet and let them take care of all your computer needs. That's Computer and Software Outlet, 1 block behind McDonald's at the corner of Highway 421 and Jonestown Road.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is a bankruptcy, and we pull them back, and they appreciate it.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You don't have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3, 4, or 5.
The people who provide Care One credit counseling services know how to help you get out of debt and get on with your life.
Care One Debt Management Program. It is your path out.
People are truly amazed when they call us and they see what we can do to help them. I mean, the relief in their voice is just, it makes the job worthwhile.
And so my advice is don't struggle with it. Look for a solution today.
Call us because we can do amazing things.
Gather up your bills and talk to the people who can help, to the people who care. Call for Care One credit counseling today.
Care One for you.
Ask yourself the following questions. Do you have difficulty following a conversation in a crowded place like a restaurant or party? Have family and friends expressed a concern about your hearing? Just as reading glasses can easily help aging eyes to see better, your ears can easily be helped to hear better. Phonak pioneered the digital technology that enables its hearing aids to process sound the way your ear does. So with a Phonak hearing aid, you can hear words more clearly, even in a crowd.
Animal rights people liberate hundreds of laboratory animals, but this crime of passion is now a federal investigation. Tonight we get to see the damage done. Krista Almazan of NewsCentral Cedar Rapids, Iowa, has more on the videotape that landed itself in their newsroom.
Dressed head to toe in black, at least 3 animal rights activists and a photographer seem to have easy access to these labs filled with mice and rats. One by one, they move the animals from cages to these plastic boxes. The tape is just over 40 minutes long, and the sound is turned down except for brief moments that show they had access to the labs or other ways to get in. The name of a researcher who works in Iowa's psychology department can clearly be seen on this label. It indicates this video was likely taken in Spence Labs. However, university officials have been unavailable to confirm this tape's authenticity. It arrived at CBS 2 Monday morning with a Cedar Rapids postmark and a return address from another local television station. A note inside said the raid happened Sunday, November 14th, and that 40 minutes was spent liberating 401 animals and 5 minutes was spent on destruction. The Animal Liberation Front left behind its mark and message. Graffiti on the wall said "Science, not sadism," and "Free the animals." Krista Almazan, News Central, Cedar Rapids.
A room with a view for Scott Peterson. Get this. Peterson may spend the rest of his life in a spot where he overlooks the water, where police say he dumped the body of his pregnant wife. If Peterson gets the death penalty, he gets to stay at San Quentin, just north of San Francisco. The death row building has an exercise yard on the roof that looks out over the lovely San Francisco Bay. It's a success. That's how Donald Trump describes his bankruptcy filing for his casino empire. He's trying to restructure a debt of nearly $2 billion. He denies this filing is a setback. His empire consists of the Trump Plaza, Trump Marina, and Taj Mahal casinos in Atlantic City and a riverboat casino in Indiana. Of course, Trump considers his haircut a success as well. Before takeoff, get ready to take it off at the nation's airports. A TSA spokesperson says airport screeners will be eyeing the contours of your body to detect the outline of explosives. That means removing coats and shoes, sport coats, warm-up jackets, and anything else that may conceal the contours of your body. So Mama was right. Always wear clean underwear while traveling. Catch all my reports on the web at newscentral.tv and click on Get This. Sports is coming up next, but first, Mark Hyman has tonight's commentary.
The 109th Congress convenes in January. The legislative games begin anew. With the start of this new Congress begins the annual budgeting and appropriations process. Only 4 times in the last 34 years has Congress properly met its responsibility in funding government operations by passing all 13 annual appropriations measures before the beginning of the new fiscal year. Before it even begins to appropriate money, Congress must first pass a budget resolution. This provides the framework for just how much money it will spend each year. Last year, Congress was bold enough to announce that it wasn't even going to try to pass a budget resolution. While Congress bears the bulk of the blame, it is not alone in sharing responsibility for misspending taxpayer dollars. The Bush administration, like all presidential administrations before it, sends a proposed budget to Congress each January. Government grew faster under the Bush administration than it had in the prior decade. Although 9/11 costs and post-9/11 defense investments played a large part in this spending spree, spending in other areas jumped a whopping 11% from 2001 to 2003. This is not a good trend, and one this president should change. The next White House budget will set the tone of just how serious government, both the legislative and executive branches, is going to be in reining in spending for next fiscal year. After all, it's our money, and the Bush White House, like Congress, should spend our money wisely. And that's the point. I'm Mark Hyman. Log on to newscentral.tv and tell me what you think.
Next time on The Cosby Show.
Once upon a time,
a fairy tale comes to life.
Perhaps you and I could sing a few duets.
With romance and magic.
Why don't you let me change them all into frogs? You can't even change a dog.
And even adventure.
You ready for war?
We've been looking forward to it all day. A dreamy Cosby Show. Pops, hey!
Tonight at 11 on UPN 48. Tired of boring workouts? Well, get ready to have a blast with the next generation of Tybo featuring Billy Blank's amazing new contact bag. It's more fun than ever and will help you shed those pounds and inches. Now, you can punch and kick your way to quickly create the lean, sculpted body you've always wanted. Target your abs, thighs, and even those tough-to-tone buns. We'll also include Billy's brand new Tybo contact video, absolutely free. This video is jam-packed with fun Tybo exercises using the contact bag. And Billy Blanks is your personal trainer. But wait, call now and you'll also get Billy's Motion Map, a fold-out wall chart that will speed you on your way to fast fitness results. You'll get it all. The Tybo contact bag with pump, the contact video, and Billy's Motion Map, a $40 value, yours for just $19.95. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-323-3600. That's 1-800-323-3600. Don't delay. Call now.
UPN Tuesday. Veronica Mars returns with an all-new mystery.
Where are my clothes?
When the results of an online purity test get revealed,
Everyone thinks I'm the biggest slut in school.
reputations are trashed.
Here's what you do. You get even.
Who is behind the scandal?
Somebody's logged on as you right now. Oh, God.
And who will they target next?
You messed with the wrong person.
This is gonna get good. Veronica Mars, all new UPN Tuesday, 9/8 Central.
Wake Forest moves into the #1 slot in the AP poll this week and was at home tonight against Yale before they head up to New York for the final rounds of the preseason NIT tournament. Coach Skip Prosser was able to use his bench. Chris Ellis hits two three-pointers on the night, and Mount Airy native Richard Joyce enjoyed every minute of it. Joyce had 2 dunks on the night that got the crowd all hyped up, and Wake rolled over Yale 99-72. Now, let's check out some other action in the hoops area tonight. Duke defeated Davidson 74-61. Carolina trying to rebound from their loss last week. Right now, they lead BYU in the second, 70-32. The Carolina Panthers are beginning to resemble the Panthers of old. When the going gets tough, the Panthers get goings. Backup fullback Nick Goings ran for a career-high 21 yards Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. Look at him go. Goings scored 3 touchdowns in the first half as the Panthers got their first home victory of the season by defeating Arizona 35-10. And he may not have won the race, but he's taken home the prize. No Kurt Busch. Sorry about that. Let's go to Sports Central.
The NBA Players Union is appealing the suspensions handed down to those involved in Friday's brawl. Union head Billy Hunter says the punishment was excessive. As for the Pacers, they reacted today to the penalties, which takes away Ron Artest for the season, Steven Jackson for 30 games, and Jermaine O'Neal for 25.
We intend to compete and to win on a high level. And we think that we owe this to our fans, to our city, and to the NBA.
This is not something that we wanted. It happened. We deal with it, and we move forward. We're behind Ronnie 100%, and we will look at everything we possibly can to get him back in uniform as quick as possible.
We steadfastly support our players, and that's, we're going to be consistent with that. This is a tough situation, but right now, all of us are going to stick together.
The NBA wasn't the only sport to have an awful brawl over the weekend. College football had a terrible fight on Saturday. Today, the teams involved do something interesting. They punished themselves. Clemson and South Carolina announcing they will not go to any bowl game, even if invited, because of their respective behavior in this ridiculous melee on Saturday. Even state police had trouble breaking up this mess, which went on for about 10 minutes. Clemson Athletic Director Terry Don Phillips says the team's behavior does not reflect the values and character of the school. The AD says while he knows this decision isn't fair to the majority of the players and coaches who weren't involved, it's still the right thing to do. Well, the bowl decision isn't the only news coming out of South Carolina. Gamecocks head coach, the legendary Lou Holtz, makes official what we all knew last week. He's retiring. Holtz ending an incredible career, which includes a national championship win when he was back at Notre Dame.
I wanted the replacement to come from within the staff because of continuity. But if they decided not to do that, then I don't think they could hire a better guy than a very well-known, proven winner who I play golf with.
Like Steve Spurrier, who will probably be announced tomorrow. The new BCS standings look striking like the old ones. No changes from last week to this week. USC and Oklahoma in control of their respective destinies. They fill out the top 2 spots. Auburn looking like they could be left out even if they stay undefeated. The old Montreal Expos are now the new Washington Nationals. The franchise naming itself today, choosing the moniker Nationals over the Senators and the Grays. But the event didn't go that smoothly. A protester who believes the city shouldn't spend money on a baseball team charged the stage, only to be wrestled down by a 73-year-old man who used to be the PA announcer for the old Washington Senators. They can't even name the baseball team without a problem in that town. With all of the brawls this week, is there really any better movie for Hollywood hits than Fight Club? We didn't think so, so here it is.
I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah, sure.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Let's do.
Right at our chest.
This is crazy.
So go crazy. Let her rip.
For the scores table, and it's trying to get down to the bench.
Fans and players are going at it.
You have very serious emotional problems.
This is a disgrace. I say never be complete. I say stop being perfect. I say let's evolve.
See if they can't put a little full baseline. Move it up. LeBron! Of course, LeBron James. Should have combined for 10 of Philly's first 12. Look at that!
Is it going as well as you hoped?
He thought he laid it up enough.
Carmelo. Again. Mikey Moore through the... Wow! Wow! He's going to try to run for it. Hot pursuit. Still trying to... He's going to launch one. Pretty crossover move defensively. Wade.
Gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Oh, what a play! Waves it up towards Bragg. Lefty.
Are we done? Yeah. We should do this again sometime.
Savoy, touchdown run at the sideline. Steve Savoy has the ball.
That'll do it for sports. As we go to break, check out some college basketball rankings.
Alligators, ladies.
Monday through Friday. You've got to face the fear.
You don't have what it takes.
5 days a week. Get your daily dose.
That dude is hitting hard.
Of Fear Factor.
Weekdays at 4 on UPN 48.
That was the craziest stuff I've ever done.
I'm a Ford truck man.
It's the biggest event of the year.
It's Ford's Big Throwdown,
where you can save big on America's #1 selling SUVs.
You can't beat #1, brother.
Now get great throwdown savings on all Ford SUVs, like the best-selling Ford Explorer and the big and roomy Expedition. Just announced. Get 0% financing for 72 months on the 2004 Explorer and Expedition.
Yeah, I drive a Ford. I wouldn't drive anything else.
Get to Ford's Big Throwdown.
Nothing's finer than your Carolina Ford dealer.
I am the port in the storm.
I am the line in the sand.
I am the enforcer of the sea.
United States Coast Guard, see you and prepare your orders.
We are the defenders of the homeland. We are the shield of freedom. We are the United States Coast Guard.
Responde al llamado de la patria. Únete al Coast Guard o Coast Guard Reserve.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Nothing brings back warm holiday memories like the songs and carols you love. And only Time Life's Treasury of Christmas brings you all your favorite holiday songs in one collection.
Hark the herald angels sing.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
You'll get cherished holiday songs like Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Of a white Christmas.
Time Life's Treasury of Christmas on 2 cassettes, $19.99, or 2 CDs, $26.99. So call now and have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Call 800-587-5335 or send $19.99 for 2 cassettes or $26.99 for 2 CDs plus $4.99 shipping and handling to the address on your screen.
Just like the one.
Public transportation is vital to every community, and Winston-Salem is no exception. Each year, the Winston-Salem Transit Authority provides 2.8 million passenger trips. That's over 233,000 trips a month. Commuting, shopping, visiting. Your neighbors are on the bus. WSTA connects people with life, and it makes Winston-Salem an accessible community in which to live. Plus, by using public transportation, you're making your community a cleaner, healthier place. Visit our website and download your bus route schedule. Stay on the move with the Winston-Salem Transit Authority.
Well, it looks like a soggy Tuesday is in the forecast. Good chance of rain tomorrow and only 55 degrees. But look at 67 in the forecast for your Wednesday. But rain pretty much all day long, although we clear it out on Thursday as cooler Canadian air moves in and sets up shop. I'm going for 56 with partly sunny skies. And then Friday, a big shopping day for some of us, 55 degrees. And then Saturday, partly sunny skies and 55. Lows at night, staying warm to begin with, but then they'll eventually drop back into the mid-30s. Frank.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Christmas trees grown in western North Carolina are on the move, heading to homes all across the country. Local growers say they're raising top-of-the-line trees, the cone-shaped dark green Fraser firs. Although hurricane flooding wiped out some of this year's crop, farmers say the high country output is better than ever. Retail prices are holding pretty steady right now at 6-foot trees costing anywhere between $45 and $48. Tourism is a key to economic growth. That's Rockingham County's strategy and the subject tonight on a alpha meeting in Wentworth. The county is touting its rivers and the outdoor recreation that goes with them. But the county's arts and agriculture are also figuring into their homegrown handmade campaign.
The idea being, let's utilize festivals and our outdoor activities here that we already have in place to show off our beautiful arts products and agricultural products that are being grown and created here in the community.
Now, here are some of the stories we're working on for tomorrow on UPN 48 News at 10. High Point gets into the holiday spirit with their annual Christmas parade. Plus, are we spending money on a system that's failing? We'll have a special report on why a majority of criminals will become repeat offenders. Now, a look at what's coming up tonight at 11 on our sister station, ABC 45. She won American Idol, and now she's releasing her first album, but that's not all. Fantasia Barrino gets fantabulous with MAC makeup.
I'm Jeff Barn. Here's what we're working on tonight for the late edition. You get patted down going into just about any stadium. So what happened to security when the crowd suddenly went wild at the Pacers-Pistons matchup? Ever wonder if there really was someone hiding on that grassy knoll? Now you can control JFK's fate. And whether it was nasty, sappy, or just plain dumb, there are times I wish I could take back an email. It's now coming to a keyboard near you. Join us for these stories and much more tonight on the late edition.
And that's our report tonight. I'm Frank Faboni. Thanks for making UPN 48 News at 10 your choice for primetime news. Good night, everybody.
The worst part was the pressure.